In the last 6 months, I made my client over $1.1 million running paid webinars, and this is exactly how we did it, and I'm just going to break it down for you right now. So congruency, testing, scaling, those are the three most important things to make as much money as you possibly want with webinars. Most important part is congruency. So when you think about congruency, you really have to think of every single part of the sales process that your lead sees has to be the same from what they just saw before, and it has to match. So what I mean by that is, let's say that you're running a trading offer and you're running ads, and on the ad you say, "Are you tired of being broke? Learn how I made X amount of money trading." Okay, perfect. They're interested. They're tired of being broke. They click on the link, then brings them to a sales page. On the sales page, it says, "If you're tired of having to work all the time and busy of being stressed out by your 9 to 5, let me show you how I built the most simplified trading system to quit my job." And it's like, well, wait, like, maybe, yeah, they're tired of their 9 to 5, but maybe they're tired of being broke because what you said on the ad. So now you have an issue because what you said on the ad doesn't match what they see on your sales page. So then they don't opt in. But let's say it does match, right? So it says, "You're tired of being broke. Learn the system that I use to make X amount of money by trading." Perfect. They opt into your webinar. Now they're getting emails. But the emails, it's not talking anything about being broke, how you're eliminated. It has no match to what they just saw. So now they don't opt in, okay? But let's say they do opt in, okay? You have it exactly matched up to what they just saw, what they came from the ad. It matches the ad from the sales page. Now the sales page matches the emails, the SMS, everything that they're getting leading up to the webinar. So then they actually show to the webinar. But on the webinar, you're not talking anything about how this is going to help them from never going broke again. So now they're confused and they click off because they're like, well, this obviously isn't for me. You're talking to 60-year-olds who are trying to get to retirement. Whatever it is that, your offer may be actually catered to that isn't congruent to the messaging they saw. And you can see how any point of the process that is not lined up to what the actual lead saw right before, they're not going to follow through with the next step. And so this goes all the way from the ad to the sales page to the emails and automations to the actual Webby to what they actually buy to if you have a sales call after what they bought. It all has to actually match up, or else they're going to drop off at one point and you're just going to lose that lead and you spent money on it already and now it's just a waste of time. So that's why it's most important to have every single part of your sales process congruent to ensure that you don't waste money with the leads that you're buying. Cool. So that is congruency. So the next most important part is testing. So I don't know why, but for some reason, no one likes to test ads. And testing is the most beneficial and highest leverage task you can do if you're running ads, period. The reason why is because if you're testing, and what I mean by testing, let me actually back up. What you need to test is different messaging, different angles, different hooks, different backgrounds, different sceneries. Literally every single part that makes up the ad, you need to test. And the reason why you need to be testing so often is because Facebook caters to running more ads. If you're only running 5, 10 ads, you're not going to get nowhere near as much data as you could whether you were running 20, 30, 40, 50 ads, even on the same ad spend. It literally just does not make sense not to test. So you need to be testing as often as possible, and you need to be testing the messaging, you need to be testing the angles, the hooks, the CTAs, the background, the scenery, what he's wearing. Literally every single part of the ad needs to be tested to ensure you're able to actually figure out, okay, this works, so let's do more of this, or okay, no, this doesn't work, so let's stop doing that. Otherwise, if you're only testing every now and then, it's just going to take you so much longer to actually see what works, and you're just going to spend much more money than you actually would need to if you just decided to test more ads. And another thing too, because sometimes, let's say that you're very, very busy and you just may not have the time to actually sit in front of the camera, record a video. That's fine. There's this thing called AI. It is incredible. You can probably do two things with it if you spend a couple hours on it. You either create static images, okay? You just give it pictures of yourself. You tell them, okay, this is what I want on the image, on the ad. It makes it for you. Or if you want to be a little more tech savvy with the AI, you can make video static, you can make video ads with AI. So there's really no reason, no obstacles. There should be no reason why you're not running as many ads as often as possible. Cool. So the next part is now scaling. So this is the best and most important part and the most fun, because you start to scale when everything's congruent, everything lines up. You know now what wins, or you've also done all the testing, so you know it's your actual winners. Now you have a nice batch of like 20, 30, 40, 50 ads that are high performers every single time you run a webinar. Now it's time to scale. So this is the part where you're able to just put as much money as you possibly can into your ads. Now, while you're scaling, you want to make sure that you're still testing. This is very important. You should always, always, always be testing. Never stop testing. Every single time you run a webinar, you should be testing new ads. The reason why you do not want to continuously run your winners once you've gotten a nice batch is because there's something called ad fatigue. That basically happens when you continue to run your ads back to back. Leads get fatigued with the ads. They start seeing it often and more. And so it's harder basically for Facebook to actually find the people who are qualified and good for your ad. So you get lower qualified leads. You're probably spending a bit more money, and it's just not good. So always test new ads. You can run your top performers in the background, but always make sure you're testing. But this is also when you're able to start scaling. So when you have those winners, you want to make sure that you're spending on those winners as well. And you want to make sure that you're spending on the testing. As far as the split, it honestly really depends on how well they're performing. I guess I can give you some sauce on this. For me, I only run the winners 2 to 3 times max per Webby. So I'll run them for 2-3 Webbies, and then I'll just stop them completely. I won't run them at all. I'm always obviously testing new ads, but I'll obviously run the winners in the background. After the 3rd Webby, I just stop them for a while and I solely focus on testing. The reason why is because I don't want those ads to get fatigued, because it's just not going to bring us good leads. So I don't do that. But once you're scaling, you want to show and tell Facebook, because Facebook is just an algorithm and it's an AI. So if something is performing well, whether that's the winners, if they're performing great, obviously spend more. If the test batch that you're doing, or if the test batch that you're testing is doing well, you want to tell the AI, hey, this is working, so you want to spend more money. That's how you tell the AI. That's how you tell Facebook, I like the results that you're giving me. Give me more like this. So that's why you want to consistently bump up your ad spend. I honestly don't have an ad budget when I run ads. We have kind of like a benchmark that we aim for, but if the ads are performing extremely well, why would I turn it off if we're able to get more for essentially less? Because when the ads are performing well, you have a low cost per lead, so you're basically able to get cheap, high quality leads. So why would you not spend more, right? So always tell Facebook and speak to Facebook. You basically always want to be speaking with Facebook. So if you are getting good results, you're having a high cost per result, a low cost per result, you're having a high opt-in rate, high return on your ad spend, you want to tell Facebook, hey, I like this result, and you want to tell them that by spending more. And then vice versa. If for whatever reason those ads aren't performing well, you push back on the ad spend and say, hey, wait, these aren't performing good, so I'm going to cut back, I'm going to readjust, give you better ads, and then we're going to try again, basically. So this is basically all we do every single time we run a webinar. We ensure that every single part of the process is congruent to one another. We make sure that we're always testing new ads. And we make sure that if the ads are performing well, we're scaling it as much as possible, because we know if we're getting a good result from that, it literally does not make sense to not spend more. And so by doing all that, that's basically how we've been able to make over $1 million in the last 6 months just from webinars. Now, if you run some type of offer, coaching offer, anything like that, and you're running webinars or you're thinking about running webinars, I can handle all of this for you. So that's what you're interested in, you can book in a call. I don't like to work with everybody. I only work with you if I actually fully believe I can make you money. So if you're interested, you can book in a call down below. And if you like videos like this, let me know what else you'd like to see in the comments.